good idea. And I was just wondering about could I put amendment on that? It would include hanging by a tree also. And also, I would like to sign on to your bill, sir. Thank you.
Well, there's Representative Sherrill there, Paul Sherrill, and he's trying to add this amendment to a death sentencing bill down in Tennessee where we can bring back hanging from a tree, brother. That's what I want to do. I haven't seen that in a while. Growing up, it was very, very exciting. There's more as they went through this whole thing to talk about how they want to find different ways and new and inventive ways of killing folks. So here's a longer version of what they were talking about.
Leader Sherrill.
Thank you, Chairman. And thank you, Representative Powers, for bringing this. I think it's a very good idea. And I was just wondering about could I put amendment on that? It would include hanging by a tree also. And also, I would like to sign on to your bill, sir. Thank you.
So did you hear in that particular clip, there's some chuckling going on. I'm not sure if it was him or someone next to him, like, remember when we used to hang them from the tree because they think this is funny. This is a fun part about their past. Back when they had more control and their blatant racism didn't have to be hidden, even though it's hidden by about a half a layer. Anyways, this House Bill 1245 is the one that they were discussing, and it allows for a sentence of death to be carried out by electrocution as an alternative to lethal injection. That's what the bill is talking about. Representative Powers is the one that he was speaking to. He debated last month that the state wanted to give those sentenced to death another choice because of, quote, the problems that we've had in the state of Tennessee as it pertains to capital punishment. Power was referencing South Carolina's decision in 2021 to legalize death by firing squad, even though that ruling has been temporarily overturned by the state's Supreme Court. So maybe that's the problems that they're having in the state of Tennessee, that they're overturning the execution by firing squad is the problem. So let's just start hanging people because that's fun. More because he wants to bring back these are the details of what it is that they're chuckling about, laughing about, and proposing in 2023 in the state of Tennessee in the United States of America. And it might give you guys a glimpse into why they don't want anyone to talk about some of the ugly past that we've got. This is some of that ugly past. A typical lynching back in the day that Sherrill wants to bring back would involve criminal accusations, often dubious, against a Black American, an arrest and the assembly of a, quote, lynch mob intent on subverting the normal constitutional judicial process. Victims would be seized and subjected to every imaginable manner of physical torment, with the torture usually ending with being hung from a tree and set on fire. And think about this part. More often than not, victims would be dismembered and mob members would take pieces of their flesh and bone as souvenirs. So Representative Sherrill is like, I remember those days. That was fabulous. When we used to hang humans from trees, set them on fire, dismember them, and take body parts home to put on our mantles so that we could put our hands back behind our vests and say, good job, boy. That's what he'd like to go back to. And they'll chuckle about it in state legislators as they're talking about changing these types of rules because they can't wait to kill more folks. And they're like, this is a fun way to do it, isn't it? We know it was terrorism back in the day. It was a control over Black folks back in the day. And it was a way to make sure that they stayed in line. Make sure you stick to where you stay. And that's where they still are. But they'll say that they're for freedom, equality, and justice in the United States of America, Jeff.
Yeah, you know what? So I want to apologize to you, Jayar. And like I was laughing in the background, and I don't know if it was me and someone that was sitting next to him.
Someone was chuckling there.
Okay. But here's why I was laughing. I want to admit to something. I apparently have implicit bias. Because sure, it's bad enough that they want to bring back public executions in this regard, sure. But man, it sounds so much worse when they say it with a Southern accent. Like my Black spider senses started to alert myself to public dangers that I should be aware of. And everything I read about was so awful. And they want to bring that back. Like it would be funny if it wasn't so scary that they want to see this again. Yeah, they would put on their Sunday's best, maybe go see an execution, go to Sears, get some ice cream, bring it on back home. It was just a normal afternoon. And it could be a national pastime again if they could just pass this bill, JR.
It was a fun, exciting event for these folks. Yes, they brought their children out. There's pictures of this. Again, I assume a lot of people know this, or they just thought lynchings happened way, way back in the day, only a couple hundred years ago, rather than pretty much up till now, because that's why we see these, when we see police killings or we see these folks go and stalk someone that's running through a neighborhood or anyone walking down the street. When things like that happen and when children are murdered and things like that, and people go, well, what was he doing wrong? What was he carrying? What did he say to that white man that shot him? All these things get asked because the history that we're coming from excused all this. In fact, it gave what they thought was good reason to murder black folks in the streets and then crowd around a tree and have a picnic around their bodies. The savage nature of our history, it still lives today with these types of folks and these types of proposals as they laugh about it. But they don't want you to learn about it.